Are you a trustworthy person? A person that other people can trust? Can they place some trust in you? Do you trust many people? Today we are going to talk about trust. Confidence can be a good thing and can be a bad thing. In Psalm 30, verse 1, it says, "I will exalt you, Lord, for you raised me up and did not leave. Let my enemies have fun at my expense." See that David is declaring that the Lord did not let his enemies have fun at his expense. He did not let his enemies shame him, humiliate him, mock him. On the contrary, he won the battles, he won the wars, he dominated peoples, cities. The greatest king of Israel won. He made mistakes, he failed, but as he himself says, "The Lord will raise this one up for me." God raised David up, because David also fell, because David went through moments of falling too. Mistakes, but the Lord raised him up. And David makes it clear here that he fully trusted in the Lord, that he fully trusted in the Lord. Who have you trusted? Have placed trust? Do they really deserve that trust? Are they really worthy of having such trust? The Bible tells us that Samson was God's Nazirite, a man chosen by God from his mother's womb, and he would be used to help the people free themselves from their enemies, to win battles. But Samson, throughout his life, he forgot who gave him that strength. He forgot what he shouldn't do. And he started to trust people he shouldn't trust. Everyone knows or has heard of the story of Samson. Samson had unparalleled strength. Samson defeated entire armies alone. With just a bone in his hand, he wiped out armies of hundreds and hundreds of men. Samson was chosen by God, blessed by God. He had a gift, an ability that no man had. But Samson began to forget that this ability came from God, that it was God who chose him. From his mother's womb, Samson began to do things he shouldn't, go to places he shouldn't. And he made the biggest mistake of his life. He trusted the wrong person. Samson stopped trusting his own parents, from listening to what his own parents said to trusting and listening to an unknown woman, a woman who was pleasant in his eyes, whom Samson didn't even know. And this confidence was the reason for his downfall. Samson trusted Delilah. Samson trusted his own life in Delilah. And even though he was deceived twice in a row, he continued to trust Delilah and handed over the secret of his strength, giving his enemies everything they needed to then defeat him, capture him and shame him, mock him. Samson delivered everything his enemies wanted. All because Samson trusted the wrong person. I ask you again who you have trusted. There are people who trust their friends at work more than their own family. I'm sure you've met someone like this. I'm sure you've seen someone who often talks more to their friends in a conversation with strangers than in a conversation with family. She trusts more in telling someone she doesn't even know about her life, about your choices, about your decisions, and sometimes the spouse who is in the same bed, in the same house, the person doesn't trust. Sometimes you are a young person who trusts talking to all those who you say are your friends, who you say are your best friends, but you don't trust sitting at the table with your parents and talking to them. There are people who trust their plans thinking that who they are telling is a person who will support, who will encourage, who will wish them well, when in fact, little do they know that the person they are telling, the person they are trusting, is the person who most he wishes them harm. He is the person who most wants them to come to harm. Who do you trust, dear? Sometimes, you are failing to trust the people who love you, who want to help you, who want the best for you. To trust strangers. People you spend the day with, but you don't know deeply, you don't know their insides, you don't know them completely, you don't really know them. Sometimes you have a problem and you trust more in telling a friend, a stranger, than telling your own family. Sometimes you seek help in places and with people you don't know, instead of those who love you. And what about trusting in us, Lord? There are people who ask everyone for help, except God. There are people who ask family, friends, strangers for help, but they can't bend the knee and ask God for help. Her trust is far from God. And Proverbs 3, verse 5 says so, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not in your own understanding. What did Samson do? He began to trust in his own strength instead of trusting in the Lord. He started to trust an unknown person instead of trusting those at home, in his own family. And he began to rely on his own understanding. No, I'm going to tell Delilah, because Delilah isn't going to do anything. Delilah is with me. Delilah is the woman of my life. And look what happened. He had his eyes gouged out, they threw a party to mock him. And then when he remembers the Lord, it is only to end those people and end his own life too. Darling, be careful who you share your life with. Be careful who you are trusting. Don't trust anyone more than you trust the Lord. Don't trust strangers more than those who love you and are with you. Firstly, trust in the Lord, and secondly, choose carefully and with great caution who you trust, because if you trust the wrong person you may fall and not get up. You may be like Samson and not like King David. King David fell, but he trusted in God, he rose again, God raised him up again. And David's enemies could not overcome him, mock him. Samson's enemies. They did it. Samson made a mistake, but only came to his senses when it was too late. Don't wait until it's too late to review who you are trusting. Don't wait until it's too late for you to bend your knees and ask God for help. Start trusting in the Lord. He loves you, just like your family loves you. And you are not listening to this by chance, you are listening to this so that your mind opens and you can then reflect. God is true, I'm trusting people who I don't even know who they really are, I'm trusting people who sometimes want me bad and I'm there trusting, telling them everything. People who go there and when you're not there, say everything you said to everyone, tell lies, invent things about you and you trust the person. Take care, dear. David was raised up, but because he trusted in the Lord. And if this message spoke to you, put it in the comments. Share your experience in the comments, if you have ever trusted someone who stabbed you in the back, so that other people can learn from your testimony, from your story. And share this message with those you truly trust and love, so that these people also start to reflect on who they are trusting. Don't forget to leave your like, so that this message reaches more people. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so that you are always notified when a new food comes out here on the channel. God bless you.